Most gardeners replant every single year. Buy seeds, start over, repeat. But there is a group of plants that completely breaks that rule. Plant them once and they come back. Some for decades. A few for over a century. One plant on this list was eaten by Roman soldiers on long military campaigns because it was available almost everywhere they marched. Another is quietly showing up in protein powders and superfoods. And most people have no idea it can grow right in their backyard. We are covering the best perennial food plants you can grow, from the most familiar to the ones that might genuinely surprise you. Stay until near the end, because one of these has been nutritionally compared to meat. Annual plants die at the end of the season. You pull them, buy seeds, and start again. That cycle costs time and money every single year. Perennial food plants store energy in their root systems over winter and push new growth back up when conditions are right. Some become more productive the older they get. This is not a new idea. Indigenous communities around the world relied on perennial food systems for thousands of years before modern agriculture standardized the annual cycle most gardeners follow. Today, the plants on this list are not difficult to grow. Most ask very little once established, and several will still be producing food long after the person who planted them has moved on. Plant number 1 is asparagus. The first 2 years, you do not harvest. You let the plant build its root crown underground. Starting in year 3, it produces every spring for 20 to 30 years from that single planting. Romaine legions carried asparagus on campaigns across Europe. It preserved well in the cold of the Alps and stored easily on the road. Emperor Augustus reportedly loved it so much that a phrase developed among his staff for urgent tasks, translating roughly as faster than cooking asparagus. 1 cup delivers folate, vitamin K, and several B vitamins, along with asparagine, the compound the plant was actually named after. The patience required early on is why most people skip it. That is also exactly why it is worth planting first. Plant number 2 is the globe artichoke. Before we continue, one plant near the end of this list has been consumed for so long that archaeologists found traces of it in ancient Egyptian sites. Keep watching for that one. The artichoke grows as a large silvery green thistle. Left to bloom, it opens into vivid violet. Harvested before bloom, the bud is what you find on restaurant menus worldwide. Here is something most people do not know. Artichokes contain a compound called cynarin that temporarily alters how taste receptors process sweetness. Drink water right after eating one, and it will taste noticeably sweet. Single plant produces multiple buds per season and can stay productive for 10 years or more in the right conditions. Plant number 3 is moringa. This is where things get interesting. Moringa is a fast-growing tree native to South Asia with a documented history of food and medicinal use, stretching back over 4,000 years. In some regions, it goes by the drumstick tree. In others, people call it the miracle tree, though that label deserves the same caution you would apply to anything making dramatic claims. The leaves, when dried and ground into powder, are among the most nutrient-dense plant materials available from a warm climate garden. The protein content of the dried leaf has been compared favorably to eggs in some research. Ever wonder why moringa keeps appearing in health food stores and protein supplements? The answer is the dried leaf powder. It packages into a product that is easy to use and simple to market. In tropical climates, moringa can be cut back hard and regrow within weeks. The leaves, pods, flowers, and seeds are all edible. That kind of whole plant usability is genuinely rare. Plant number 4 is sorrel. Most people have never heard of it, and that is a genuine oversight. Sorrel is a leafy perennial with a sharp, citrusy flavor that comes from oxalic acid, the same compound found in spinach. It is one of the first plants to emerge each spring, often weeks before anything else in the garden is ready to harvest. French cooking has used sorrel in sauces and soups for centuries. It anchors the classic cream sauce for salmon found in traditional French cuisine. In Eastern Europe, sorrel soup called chauve has been a springtime staple across generations. Cut the leaves and the plant responds by pushing up more. It is not just a once-a-season crop. For gardeners who want the earliest possible harvest of the year, sorrel is usually the answer. Plant number 5 is the walking onion. The name alone tells you something unusual is happening here. Walking onions produce small bulbs at the top of their stalks instead of flowers. When those bulbs get heavy enough, the stalk bends to the ground. The bulbs take root where they land. The plant effectively walks itself across your garden over time. This is the plant with traces found in ancient Egyptian sites. It has been cultivated so long that its exact wild origin is no longer clearly known. Every part is edible year-round. The green tops taste like chives. The underground bulbs taste like shallots. The top bulbs can be pickled whole or used in cooking like small pearl onions. Plant them once and they self-propagate indefinitely. The only management required is occasionally redirecting where they decide to walk. Plant number 6 is rhubarb. Most people encounter it in pies and crumbles, alongside strawberries. What fewer people know is that a single rhubarb crown in good soil can produce for 20 years, sometimes longer. Only the stalks are edible. The large leaves contain high oxalic acid levels and should not be consumed. Here is the historical twist. In medieval Europe, rhubarb root traveled the Silk Road from Asia as a prized medicinal commodity, not food. It was expensive and rare. The plant that was once a luxury traded across continents now grows in a corner of a garden with almost no attention required. There are many more plants worth adding to this list. Chives regrow from the same bulbs annually and self-seed freely. Jerusalem artichokes multiply underground and produce generous harvests. Lovage is a tall perennial herb that tastes remarkably like celery. Horseradish, once planted, becomes famously difficult to remove. Hardy kiwi vines can produce fruit for 50 years from a single planting. The thread connecting all of them is the same. You invest once. The plant takes it from there. Each plant on this list asks for effort once. After that, the garden pays you back on its own terms, season after season. Asparagus rewards patience. Moringa rewards warm climates. Sorrel rewards gardeners who want the first harvest of spring. Walking onions practically manage themselves. And rhubarb rewards anyone who gives a single crown a patch of good soil and steps back. Which one would you actually use in your kitchen every week? Leave that in the comments. If this gave you something to think about, subscribe so you do not miss what is next. One note before you go. Everything here is for educational purposes only and is not medical or nutritional advice. These plants have traditional histories and some have been studied, but they should not replace professional guidance. Consult a qualified professional for any health concerns. Do not forage or consume any wild plant without expert verification. Misidentification can be dangerous.